What does it mean when he does this and says okay?
I'm not sure. He's been doing that all day.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
Go like this. 3, 2,
1,
no,
go.
don't say one, Gary. Come on.
All right, so you're about to see what lack of sleep and caffeine looks like. So let's go and I can barely remember my own name. So
Why don't you start by introducing yourself in case nobody else there?
Yeah, fair enough, right? Yeah, I think my name is Gary Robbins, and I believe my mission in life is to just hang out at finish lines and high-five people when they come across. I'm the co-race director and creator, founder of the Squamish 50 races and Coast Mountain Trail Running. Myself and Jeff Langford started in 2011, 10 years ago, hiatus with COVID, obviously, so this is the 9th edition of the Squamish 50 races, and in 10 years, we've grown from just a couple hundred runners to 1,500 runners annually, and we sell out typically 9 months in advance in under 24 hours, and have become the biggest ultra race in Canada by finishers, so we're quite proud of where we've gotten to.
This is the first October rain edition of the Squamish.
Not the last, though. We love it. It's been so amazing. I mean, I would really love to do this again.
We've been taking votes on throughout as we interview people. Who would take it in August versus October. Etienne, our third place male finisher, he is a fan of October. So if we do this again, we've already got him penciled in for the race.
We have at least one person registering for our next October race. I think he might be alone in that. Yeah. Hopefully we will never not be in August again. I would much rather deal with some heat issues rather than a few hundred millimeters of rain over 36 to 48
Looks like Melissa's buying dinner tonight.
How would you say the weekend went overall? I mean, just me watching everything, everybody seems to be having like a fantastic time.
Which is really weird, actually. It makes me question people's sanity. You put down some flags and some spray chalk and an arch, and they'll find a way to have a good time, it seems. I gotta say, first and foremost, we have an exceptional team. Jeff and I have worked really hard over 10 years to really build not just a really talented team, but a really cohesive team that when we have our team get-togethers and meetings, we have as much fun as we do dealing with business and stuff. So I knew going into this, when we saw the forecast, I thought it was a misprint. I was like, I'm going to check again tomorrow, and it continued to get worse. But I knew we'd be able to handle it. We had a couple of emergency meetings at the last minute to redesign our course marshal plan. We weren't about to ask marshals to be out in 200 millimeters of rain for 7 hours, so we had to reallocate some positions. But the team didn't flinch. They're amazing at what they do. So I was amazed yesterday during the 50-mile day that at points I questioned if my radio was working, if the battery had died. And the radio lets us know what's happening if there's panic or extractions, etc. It went so smoothly because the team are so good at what they do. So I'm amazed that we're sitting here on the back half of the 50K on Sunday and can say that it was a hugely successful event thus far.
And so people can expect this event to be held in October.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, absolutely. October is fantastic. I love wearing my ski kit to the finish line. And also, pro tip, don't wear your favorite ski pants that are beige into a mud pit. They'll never be the same again.
Yeah, I thought it was a fantastic weekend. Do you know specifically how many volunteers we had out this weekend?
We had 350 is what we target, 325 to 350 volunteers. I don't know what that ended up getting pared down to. We did, some people couldn't make it for one reason or another, don't want to be out in the rain that much. We had about 300 volunteers, and a big shout out to our volunteer coordinator, Megan Eastwood and Sonia Mahoney, to be able to direct 300 people, and most of them having not being local, not knowing the trails. It is incredible that they can get everybody into position for a flawless race experience for runners.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody's just having a great time seeing some of the volunteers out there, and I'm always surprised too. We were talking to a lot of the 50K finishers here, and everybody was just super ecstatic. And it's like you've just ran 50K in this insane rainstorm, and they're coming through with smiles, and they're just so pumped on the course.
Well, doing an ultra period is a massive accomplishment. But doing an ultra where you add in these additional elements that make it increasingly harder, it really ups the ante, and with that, it ups the reward. And I've seen that with runners where there's been like preposterously positive feedback at the finish line, where one runner said, "This was the most amazing thing. I wish every race was like this." And I was like, "Do you hear what you're saying right now? Do you understand the words that are coming out of your mouth?" But no, I really feel like people this weekend felt like they were a part of something bigger. because it is absurd. It's absurd. There were other events planned in the Lower Mainland this weekend that canceled because and it's just funny that you with trail running and ultra running out on the trails, it's like you don't cancel. You end up with like a huge show percentage on the start line because people embrace that challenge and they know that there's a greater reward at the finish line.
Yeah, one of the things I always find really neat too is, and throughout the the broadcast yesterday and today, is we focus a lot on those top runners coming in and everything, but I think sometimes we forget to talk about like a lot of the finishers that are coming in. What was the cutoff time?
17 for the 50 mile.
17, so that would have been 10:30 last night. You're still out there. We've got runners coming in. How cool was that to see?
Yeah, absolutely. That's so when I built the Squamish 50 course, what I wanted to do was present a really challenging course, but also something that was completely doable by people that would put in the time. It would be so easy for me to create a course that's way harder than this in Squamish. There's almost infinite possibilities of what you can construct. But what I wanted was, within a 17-hour window, what's the maximum challenge that we can present to allow people to be able to finish the race so that we don't eliminate the mid and backpack runners. And we see that. We see people who do get cut off and they come back the next year. And we see 50-50 runners who miss the cutoffs and come back and they make it happen. And when we built our events, we celebrate the lead runners, as we should. That's a big part of the sport. But if you ever work an aid station, you see that the volunteers aren't there for the lead runners.
No.
The lead runners come through, and it's like boom, 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 business. And then by the time the mid and back of the pack runners come in, it's this complete bond between runner and volunteer.
I love it.
And it's exceptional, right? And that's something that I love about this sport and what we do. And that's something that we've always maximized celebrating. When I was doing competing prior to becoming a race director, one of the events I really looked up to was the Mind Over Mountain Adventure Racing Series. So my good friend Brian Tazaka directs the MOMAR, was the acronym. And I did adventure racing before trail running. And the takeaway I had from the MOMAR races that I didn't see at all the other races I was doing, Neenacker's another great example.
Yeah.
They went out of their way to celebrate everybody, to make the last finisher feel as special or more than the first finisher. And that was something that we built into our DNA right from the start. So we're here start to finish, and we want to make sure that every single runner feels celebrated at the finish line.
Also, those runners who are just making the cutoff, in the October version of the race, they are in the dark so much. Not just the water and the rain, but doing it at this time of year, it's like an extra hour at least
on
in
each
the
side.
Morning. Yeah, and then again in the evening. So they're running by headlamp through these totally treacherous conditions in the dark far more than they would in August. So I think huge kudos to all those people, who finished, made the cutoff in a more challenging course for numerous reasons.
A way more challenging course. So my wife ran the 50 miler yesterday. She ended up slipping on a bridge and jammed her arm, and she jacked her back a little bit. She got up and dusted herself off and got to the finish line. But I was talking to her this morning before I got. So my wife does the 50 miler, finishes. I have an alarm set for 20 after 3 this morning, and my wife comes in at quarter after 3 because she woke up worried I'd outslept my alarm. I was trying to get 5 extra minutes of sleep, so she was making sure I was going to get back to the start line. But her lower back is really lit up today, and she said it was because when running, the puddles, you don't know how deep they are. So you assume the puddle is this deep, but you end up in a puddle this deep, and you're not prepared for it, and you overstep kind of thing. So yeah, there were a lot more challenges presented to runners, and the 50-50 runners, the ones that started this morning after yesterday, I mean, forget finishing, just starting today was a massive accomplishment.
I agree, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's something you talked about.
Yeah,
too
it's a very hard on your joints kind of, and then that was, the puddle depth, you don't know how deep it is, so it jams your back, like Linda was saying, and your knees and your ankles if you're rolling them, and so you're just way more achy and sore than normal because you've had a lot of these missteps, or I don't know where the bottom is steps, and it's hard.
How are you feeling today?
I'm actually, the limiting factor yesterday was my joints. They're still a bit achy. My muscles are maybe not as bad as the usual 50-mile jog for me. I think maybe because it wasn't
because you had an ice bath from start to finish. It's a strategy we build into the races. It works for recovery.
It was the continuous ice bath.
Well, and you also spiked your heart rate on the Sea to Sky drive on the way here. So that the race started on the Sea to Sky highway.
Did that get discussed on this?
You brought it up. We should talk about it. There's because Anne-Marie is doing the broadcast today, there was sort of a group email chat there, and at about, I think it was 5:08 yesterday. With context, the 50-mile start, it was to start at 5:30. I think I was still in bed yesterday around that. And
you were definitely still in bed.
Yeah,
you like to oversleep and stay in bed.
That's today.
I'm making this up. He's very dedicated.
So at 5:08, we got this email coming in from Anne-Marie, and it was something about, hey, I'm still driving there.
I think it said, don't start the race until I get there. I'm your most important runner, and you know it.
Yeah.
I'm just quoting word for word.
I can back that up.
I saw this email at 6:30, an hour into the race, and thankfully, I would have panicked if I hadn't. So right at the start, I saw you, and I don't know if you were going to miss the turn, but you jumped out, and I pointed you to the right instead of going straight.
Okay, so I didn't.
Because you got there at the last second, so you didn't hear the pre-race of right through the arch, immediately hook a right turn. So I'm standing there, and she's about to blow the first turn in the race, and I'm like, that way. And then I see the email an hour later and go, oh, I get it. You basically ran into the start chute and had no idea what was going on at that point.
So I didn't understand that comment. I didn't realize you were talking about that right turn right there. I thought you were telling me, because I'd missed the pre-race briefing, not to screw out on the course. And then I was telling these guys earlier, my jacket was amazing and invaluable yesterday, but I had it over my vest, which was nice because it kept my vest dry.
What brand is your jacket?
Solomon.
What brand is your backpack?
What?
Wow.
But I had it down to get the food out, and it got stuck. And I
into the line.
was running with my head down trying to undo the zipper and fully missed the galactic turnoff by like half a K or a kilometer. And so then I was like, I finally got it all figured out, and I look up and I'm like eating some food that I'd gotten out of there, and I look and I'm like, I haven't seen a pink flag for a while. And I'm like, on Gary's course, if you haven't seen a pink flag, you are
that is our promise.
So far from where you should be. So I turned around and I was, how many kilometers have I gone? I couldn't even remember the last time I saw a pink flag. So I started running back, looking for the galactic turnoff, and it wasn't, I didn't have to run that far to find it. But then I was like, a couple guys had clearly
Do you think a volunteer or need a crew?
I had no idea if like equipment had been right behind me.
Right,
So I was sort of climbing the galactic trail with now no idea where anybody.
So we have a barricade across the road with two pink signs that you have to run past to miss the turn. You weren't the only one. Jamie Sparling, a friend of the race, a local mountain biker, former pro rider, was out yesterday riding his mountain bike, checking out the lead pack. And if you miss that turn, it's called the Northside Connector. It's a service road. And about a kilometer past that turn, Jamie was biking, and there was a runner coming at him with a bib on. And he said, "Are you dropping out of the race?" And the guy was like, "No, why?" He goes, "Because you've missed the turn by more than a kilometer right now." So Jamie saved somebody's race out there yesterday, and that guy ran an extra 2K. The funny thing is, we rarely hear people at the finish line blame us for missing turns, and that's a nice thing, because when you get back and see the barricade you had to run around, it's obvious that you were one of the only people to miss the turn.
We were talking with Chris Jones yesterday, and he was talking about being a part of deflagging the course and how that's so much work compared to what he thought it would be.
Yeah, we call those material sweepers, and we have yet to ever see a material sweeper sign up twice.
Not Kim Magnus? I could see her having done it more than once. No.
Early on, Kim did a couple of course material sweeps. Yeah, absolutely.
So I think we've got another
coming down the final stretch of 50 kilometers.
Yeah, it's non-stop. It's just go, go, go. So 7 days from today, we've got the Diaz Vista 50K in Port Moody. 23rd year for that race, 23rd, 24th.
It's a little wet.
And we're happy to be back there. That's a sold-out race, 450 registered. We'll see what we get for weather, and we'll see what we get for people showing up. It is Diaz Vista weather. It's normally in April. And when I say we'll see what we get for people showing up, I actually mean the crew, not the runners.
This is one of our anesthesia fellows here from Australia.
Oh, really?
Nicely done. How's it going?
Good. That was hard.
This is what it's like in Australia outback, right?
Same.
I thought if this was Australia, about half the race would have been eaten by crocodiles.
Oh, they'd be right through town right now, right?
Yeah.
The crocs just come in with the floods.
You couldn't run in that sort of stuff. Like you're taken.
Were you worried about getting taken today? Is it just something that's built into your consciousness?
Totally, like it's definitely crossed my mind, but I stayed strong.
Is it just jacket? Is there a layer underneath the jacket there?
Oh, there is, yeah. There is.
I thought it was just jacket over top.
It's just chest hair.
There's chest hair in a V jacket, and it was a very unique styling with a neck buff.
Yeah.
It looked. You look good. You look very good.
Thanks.
But it is a tank
First
top.
place in the fashion
I try to
category.
emulate like.
Thank you for organizing.
Congratulations.
Nice work.
That was actually my first race.
Safe travels.
Over 35k. So
Amazing. You really picked a
picked a
challenging
good one.
one.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Brothers and sisters in anesthesia.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah,
right?
Aaron's here for a year.
Anne Marie's like leading from the front, bringing up the rear.
You've done well.
Catch you later, guys.
Yeah, good stuff. Congratulations.
It's the whole anesthesia crew.
But I do want to say thank you to you guys. So thank you to our broadcast team. This was something that it didn't get thrown together at the last minute, but it was kind of once we got up and going, there were so many obstacles to get through just to get the race going again. Not the least of which was even confirming a date in the calendar. And I said I wanted to do a live broadcast, and it basically Nick Jarvis got brought on and Wing Taylor, and these guys really took it and ran with it. I invited some of my good friends that also happen to be really good runners and really good talkers. And from everything I've heard, it's gone really well this weekend. So hats off to you guys. It's massively appreciated. And what we want to do, and we've always wanted to do with this race, is we want to be at the forefront of what's happening in the sport. So this is our demo, this is our tester. We're looking to build out a budget and to not go crazy. We're not going to do anything UTMB style out here, but we do want to offer a better live race day experience in August of next year and August every year after that.
And I think to shout out to Chris Jones and Jenny Quilty.
Yeah.
They did an amazing job.
I heard they did a way better job than you.
I think.
I mean, it was in the
I agree.
comments just
Yeah.
right now. Or it's,
I was lying in bed trying to keep rice pudding down and watching it as my homework so that I knew what standard I had to meet today, and I clearly failed. But
the
they did a
standard is just showing up on
phenomenal
time.
job yesterday.
That's all we ask. Just show up on time.
Yeah, no, they did an amazing job.
You all did an amazing job. I'm going to get back to finishers because I hate missing finishers, and I've missed about 15 while we're here. But again, and thank you to everyone for tuning in. We'll continue to live feed the runners coming across, and I don't know how much more you guys are.
60% chance of rain.
A 60% chance of rain, exactly. Yeah. Sweet. Thank you.
Thanks so much,
Okay.
Gary.
Thanks, guys.